The laundromat was full of our clothes on Thursday afternoon. She would still be out because she slept in late and watched soap shows before going. I get home from work around 5. I will give her credit though, she always had dinner ready for us. On most nights, I waited until she got back before getting a dish. But one night, she still wasn't back by 6:30. That was way too late. She didn't answer when I called or texted her. The flip phone she had made it hard for her to pay attention. I hoped everything was okay with her. After finally taking a few bites, I chose to drive to the laundry to assist her. I saw her putting the clean clothes in the van. She was shocked to see me and began to stutter when I asked her why she was running late today. She finally broke down and said she was reading a hot romance. I laughed because she was acting so badly around me when she was usually so friendly and excited about the books she read. She got very excited and sexual with me the first time, but she felt bad about bringing it up this time and didn't want to talk about it. That made me wonder if she was thinking about someone else or if the day had been different in some other way. She didn't eat with me when we got home. She told me to eat by myself while she took a shower because she was feeling bad. That was also different. I would often sneak into the bathroom and give her a little start while she was showering, right before I jumped in with her. I chose to use that to my advantage and see how she responded. It scared her so much that she screamed. She looked like she was on edge. To quiet her down and try to comfort her, I reached out to grab her, but she ignored me and kept washing her private parts. She said I scared her so much that she was mad at me. Before that, I told her she seemed tense and different. She got out of the shower to dry off, and my urging made her angry. She told me she was fine and that she was just tired from cleaning. She was almost angry with me, which is not like her at all, so I just stood there and stared at her. I shouldn't look at her that way, so she told me to leave the bathroom. I didn't do anything for a few days while I watched how my wife behaved. She was very quiet and looked like any other person. It seemed like she ought to have told me something but failed. I could tell something was wrong because there were no parties coming up. The next Thursday, it took her longer to get home, but she said it was because she went to a different one. She told me it was because it was cleaner and fresher. That was okay with me at the time, but when I drove by it after work the next day, it was really gross and dumpy. It hurts me that my wife lied so much about why she didn't go to the same laundry. We had a quiet dinner together when I got home, and I asked her why she lied to me. It looked like she was struck by a car's lights. We talked about something, and I asked her if she was telling more than one lie. She told me she wasn't sure what I meant. I told her that I had driven by the laundry and it wasn't as clean or new as she said. I got up to answer her phone when it rang in the living room. Then she sat down when she saw that I wasn't going to stop. It was a freeform song. I picked up the phone, and it was a man. When he heard my voice, he hung up. She had some back-and-forth texts with this number, so I looked at her texts before going back to the dining room. He told her he appreciated her help and asked if she could come back next Thursday. He texted her, but she told him no and asked him to stop. He called right after getting an apology text and the wrong number. He asked why. When my wife looked at me, she grabbed her phone from me. I told her she had to tell me right away what had happened. I wasn't going to wait any longer to find out what changed her and made her start lying to me. She put her phone away, fell asleep on the couch, and put her face in her hands. She told me last week that she met a guy at the laundry. He had been in the military and had just come back a few days ago. It had been a long time since he had felt the touch of a woman. The man was pretty honest, and my wife felt she had to help him because he needed it. He was a hero, and it was just like the steamy books she writes. I was very angry. A big fight broke out because I knocked over a lamp. When I asked her why, she said something, but I was so angry that I couldn't even hear what she was saying. The neighbors knocked on our door in the middle of the party. They were scared when they saw my face. They heard the noise and asked if we needed any help. I told them we were just talking about my wife cheating on me, but everything would be fine once she left. She said she wouldn't leave the house until the courts told her to. The neighbors quickly left so that we could keep talking. I left because she was such a stubborn cow. I stayed with my cousin and then a friend until the divorce was final and she was told to leave. During that time, I rented a hotel room. Before it was legal, my wife didn't pay attention to me while she lived in her house and probably had the veteran over. She called me after being told to leave. She texted me and called me names, asked me why I had to be this way, and other stupid things when I didn't answer. She was angry because she thought she was going to win. People I dated again told them that we got a divorce because she cheated on me. When her family heard about it, they asked me where she was living now. People didn't find out for a while that she was living with the veteran in his small, dark apartment because I didn't know. For a while, she didn't tell anyone, not even her family. She stayed with him until he kicked her out. He let a family member move in and told her, brothers come first over a woman, which is why she had to leave. He had some much-needed fun with a woman until he was done playing house and could move on with his life. That's when my ex tried to get back in touch with me. She felt bad about being so open with him when she was married to me and we were happy. I told her I was done with her and that she was no longer my concern. Oh my, OP, you should not have let your wife do the cleaning without you. I'm sorry that she did that. She wasn't old enough to tell the difference between dream and cheating, which is a shame. She didn't think about you or how bad she would feel for lying and betraying you. Even though this did happen, you were lucky to find out the truth and not stay with her for another 10 years. Because she was your wife, it was her job to say no to temptation and come back to you. You made the right choice when you talked to her, answered her phone, and then left when she wouldn't. You have a second chance to find real love, which is selflessness, honest communication, and loyalty, because you thought things through and acted on them. Thanks for telling your story. Let's move on to our second story today. I, 33, got really dirty when he got home from work one day. Even though I worked on a farm, I was able to stay pretty clean most of the time. My wife and I, who are both 30 years old, lived from place to place and relied on the kindness of strangers. We loved life and would work hard for any chance we got to be with each other. Some people will surprise you with how giving and kind they are. The media likes to say bad things about everyone. My story makes my wife sound like a bad person, but that's not what I want to talk about. Both agreed to work hard on this guy's farm in return for a warm place to stay and food. Riding the horses made the hard work easy. That was a great time for my wife and me. It wasn't fun to scoop up the droppings, but it was worth it in the end. It was a lot of fun to feed the animals. Anyway, I slipped and fell in the mud by the pigs that day. I got home early to take a shower and didn't see my wife or the farmer anywhere. It was pretty normal for him to be fixing something outside or in his office at that time. I thought my wife was in the shower because I could hear it running. When I walked in, I saw her outline. Then I saw a second figure. I was about to scare her by giving her a muddy hug, so I got naked. When I quickly opened the shower curtain, she and the farmer were standing in the hot shower together. I screamed and asked what was going on. She told him it wasn't a big deal if he asked her to take a shower with him. I was shocked. We did stay with this guy and believe in free thought, but she didn't ask me or tell me about it, and I got the sense that there was more going on. It was okay with the farmer. If I didn't like it, it wouldn't happen again. I thought it was strange, and I felt strange because I wasn't told about it. When my wife and I were by ourselves, I told her I was leaving. She told us we didn't have to because she liked how things were set up. Yes, she did. I was very angry when I asked her if he had ever asked her to have sex. She said that he made a move in the shower, but she wouldn't do it without me. I think she had no idea how much this bothered me. I told her I couldn't bring myself to share her, even if I was there. It broke my heart to see how sad she looked. When I asked her if she was excited to sleep with someone else, she said she wasn't sure about other people, but she liked the idea of seeing the farmer because he was helping us. I told her I had to go, and if she didn't want to go with me, I would end our relationship. After thinking about it for a moment, she gave me some time to myself and said I could come back to her and the farmer whenever I was ready. What you did was gross and hurt. I didn't say anything else to or from either of them after I left. After 2 years, my ex called me out of the blue. I was shocked, so I didn't want to read her message right away. It said she was still living on the same farm, but the farmer had a heart attack 5 months ago. He was seriously hurt and in the hospital, and she hadn't been able to pay all the bills for the farm, the hospital, and the business. The law said she couldn't get to his money or do anything without him because her name wasn't on anything. She didn't have enough money to go very far and wasn't sure how long she could stay at the farm. She should ask someone else for help, I told her. She broke my heart and picked someone else over me that she barely knew behind my back. I thought we were going to be together forever and live freely while still being loyal. She lied to me and didn't care that I left. I told her it took me a long time to get over the split and that I didn't feel good about my life until now. She wasn't going to mess it up for me. I put the phone down. After a year, she left me a message saying that she had written down my number and was calling me from jail. She was charged with identity theft and theft of money and name because she pretended to be the farmer and used his cards to make purchases and sell some of his animals. After getting better from being in the hospital, he kicked her out and called the police because she used his money to buy a car, sell his property without permission, and sign legal papers without his permission. It was awful. We never went back to being romantically involved, but we did stay in touch from across the country. I got a stable job and remarried to finally settle down. Even though I had to go through some sadness, everything turned out for the best. I'm sorry that your wife misled you and left you without a second thought. Being someone else to stay living was a very bad choice that turned out to be true. She most likely wouldn't have been in that situation if she had stayed faithful and stuck by you no matter what. A marriage should only happen between two people who both fully understand what the deal means. Every marriage is different, but when two people get married, it's generally because they talk to each other honestly and know they're a good match. Your spouse wasn't a devoted and polite wife, and it's possible that she needed to experience the difficulties she did in her life.